Hey guys and ladies, anyone who is welcome, you are all welcome to watch Let's Play Extreme Warfare Revenge. I'm going to click anywhere, which will cause us to begin as we continue on with normal buttons. Interesting, I don't remember ending the end of the year last go round, but actually maybe that's true. Maybe that is exactly what happened. I think we looked at the list of wrestlers already. I remember that because I remember noticing that I think Felcher was on here, right? And not sure that there was anybody else among our dudes or among our former dudes. Yeah. All right. Let's go to feuds. That'll probably help me out a little bit. Yes, because I'm pretty sure that last time these are the feuds I remember going on as as we were working last time. Gabriel and Katsushi Takamura and Axel Law versus GQ Smooth. That's the smooth love right there. We're up to 61%. We are slowly eroding this war chest we have of funds because I'm spending a lot on advertising and yeah, like you go into finances here, we are losing some amount of money month to month. But I am hoping and thinking it is all worth it to continue to at least slowly gain in public image as the wrestling industry goes downhill. The industry is slumping badly and is only getting worse. It is less than half of its peak. Now, I had someone leaving a comment on an earlier video um, saying that they'd gotten into playing the game themselves, and I've had a number of people tell me that, and that's quite nice. A, because it's a good game or it's a fun game to play. It's a little bit fiddly, but it's a fun game to play, so it's nice to see people getting involved in it. And because that must mean that it's an enjoyable experience to watch the way that these wrestling feds pan out. Let's look at Bobo the Vulture here. Um, we have managed to vault our way into 14th out of 17. I think were there 18 or were there only 17? Either way, basically what we've managed to do is these are all feds that started after we got started. Supreme Wrestling Federation started at roughly the same level of fortune and fame as we did, actually slightly above, and we surpassed them. And let's see, what is Phoenix Championship Wrestling? Their start position. Oh, this doesn't actually tell you what any of the other feds' positions are. So let's go into sponsors here. I'm pretty sure I checked this last time too, and there aren't really any sponsors that we want to get rid of right now. We have a $100,000 a year or a month sponsor that is under that in 3 months we can get rid of. We get rid of earlier than them, but it would cost a lot of money. Let's look at these other promotions. So Supreme Wrestling Federation is run by Missy Hyatt. It's a small league. It's a little smaller than we are, though. And so is Smart Mark, but apparently it's also a small fed. Likes to build promotions around a lot of TNA. Interesting. So does Missy Hyatt. And which was the other one? I forget what other fed we are also leading. New Era Pro. That was it. Okay. What's your deal, New Era Pro? Run by Ed Schmidt. High Flying Wrestling Product. he and I probably have, similar sorts of guys. I don't think we have a lot of crossover in our production and in terms of our staff, just because I tend to have a lot of guys that work for cheap. There's no other way to say it. Well, there are other ways to say it. There are nicer ways to say it, but I'm not going to bother. We have 16 workers on the roster right now. That does mean that our guys get a lot of attention, personalized attention. It's like small class sizes at a school. What's going on the first day of the month, Peaks Leaks? All these things going on. 3XW have released the One Man Gang, Doink the Clown, Jimmy Rave, Dirty Dutch Mantel, Orange Crush, Messiah, Chris Hero, Satoshi Kojima, Rocky Romero, Duichi How, Maverick Materials. Maverick Materials? Those materials are going around doing mavericky sort of things. So good news, folks. I'm putting out potentially more than one video tonight. So you will continue to have EWR product to view and enjoy on your regular schedule for slightly longer. Downside is you are going to have to hear me drink a little bit of tea because it is tea time here at the Vulture household, and this is at just the right temperature for good quality drinking. That is good tea. I myself was born and raised in the United States, but have an Irish cultural background. Both of my parents immigrated to the United States back in the late 60s, early 70s. And was raised sort of by them, of course, as people are raised by their parents very often. Uh, so I did develop a taste for tea. The Irish consume more tea per capita than any other nation in the world, including England, because the Irish drink tea the same way Americans drink coffee, which is to say, with like milk and sugar, and, like basically several times during the day, you'll just take a break, go get yourself some tea in this case, but like people will say like, oh, I gotta go get some, I want to stop and get some coffee, and that's instead they just get tea, and it's lovely. I do enjoy tea a great deal. And I'm going to see whether or not I can manage to skip the whole way through the month here up until the day of our monthly event and just spend that time talking about tea. Well, that was my last swig. And here it is, Saturday the 27th. So, success. Actually, before I review all of the mail, we're still at 61%, so we have not lost any notoriety. So that's good. TNA had a pay-per-view, as they do. FLI have gone up to national. Cool. Low-key is going to work for them. So basically, they're going to do a lot of staff and talent signing. ROH Monday hasn't been renewed. Kirk Melnick, eh? TNA have signed The Big Show and Edge. That would be an interesting parallel universe where Edge and The Big Show both went to TNA instead of being in the WWE until their either retirements or present day, in the case of Big Show, who is not retired. Despite, and it seems kind of jerky, but despite people chanting, please retire at the Big Show at events these days. I'm like, come on, guys. What'd he do? So wait, Tito Ortiz agreed to an open contract. Pretty sure later on there's going to be another message about Tito Ortiz, isn't there? Yeah, he got released. Was it by MLW? It was. So, let's see. Between the 22nd and the 27th, he had a job. So, like, for almost but not quite a week, he was employed by Major League Wrestling. This Tito Ortiz fellow. He likes to build around technical wrestlers like Road Warrior Animal. Okay. Let's look at the old event history here. It's popular enough, diva angle involving Miss Tenniel and Sanjay Dutt. They're not actually in love or anything, even though I do make them tease at it. I believe, didn't we find out recently that alright, there, Vast. We find out, yeah, that Axel and Jarrell Clark have developed a fast friendship, which is nice. So let's go into the meeting here and talk to the writing staff. Chris Sprules could use a change of gimmick. So, did we decide we were going to change Chris Sprules' gimmick? And if so, what did we decide to change it to? We didn't decide to change it to anything. But, he is a lightweight British face. He will do high spots and he has a Fonz factor. What if we made Chris Sprules? No, none of these really. I mean, you could make him a badass, but or an adult film star. Could make him a dual sports superstar, but probably none of these evil ones. Hmm. I could make him let's see. Probably not a good man beast. Maybe could make him an old school face. He's just got to be, a face for that, I would imagine. Or I could make him a postal worker. Chris Sprules, Postman Chris. Hmm. See, he went from believing he was the evolution, the next biggest thing, to what would be the logical next step for somebody who thought they were the next maybe is there a clean cut? Yeah. Let's make Chris Sprules a clean cut dude. He's got high charisma. He could probably deal with that. I probably could have given him much fancier gimmick than that, but I kind of like the idea of making Chris Brule's a clean-cut gent. All right. You're fine. Let's see. So, matches, interviews, angles, we'll heat these things up. What if we had the switcheroos here, and we had Gabriel fight GQ Smooth and Axel Law fight Katsushi Takamura? Match. So one-on-one match, a singles match. It's going to be Axel Law versus Takamura. Bet these guys will put on a really good match on their own. There's no title on the line. The victory will go to Axel Law because Gabriel's going to come in, and it is going to be an interference. Gabriel will continue his assault. Now let's do a 2-on-1 here. Yeah. And this purpose of this will be to continue that feud. And then down here, we are going to have GQ Smooth versus Gabriel. Or Gabriel versus GQ Smooth, I should say. That's going to be Gabriel and GQ Smooth. There's not going to be a title on the line. The winner, again, will be Gabriel. Because Axel Law is going to run in. And it is going to be by interference. And they're going to do the 2-on-1 on GQ Smooth as well. I know what you're saying, folks. You're like, what? Come on. But it's all for purposes of continuing their feud. So now, going to have to be careful because you'll end up getting... I think I could still do one interview segment each for my heels here. Let's go ahead and start with an interview. A single worker with manager, Bruce Sanchez, talking for Axel Law. And they are going to be talking about GQ Smooth for the feud. It's time to play the feud, everybody. I just have to make sure to not use an angle where they're all conspiring to do this this whole thing. So Gabriel's going to have an interview where he's talking about Takamura. He's talking Takamura. And that is for purposes of continuing that feud. And then here we are going to have an interview with GQ Smooth. You know him, I know him, we all love him. He's GQ Smooth. He's just too damn smooth, everybody. And, wow. Lost the thread there for a second. He is going to be talking about Axel Law. And that is going to be to continue their feud. See, if you've got two feuds going, you can sort of charge a good portion of your show off of just moving those things forward. Now, granted, if you have more shows than one a month to do, you might not do quite so many things for each feud in each show. But we're fine doing it this way for the product that we have right now. Takamura's going to come out. He's going to talk all about Gabriel. Oh, I'm sorry, Miss Tenniel's going to talk all about Gabriel. Now then. Chris Rules has a new gimmick to debut. Who wants to debut? Who wants to help him debut that new gimmick? It's obviously not Axel Law. It's not Gabriel either, because it's not Gabriel or GQ Smooth. Is anybody feeling low on morale lately? Marcos is, but I kind of don't care about Marcos. I know it's mean, but I kind of don't care. Machito 61 over. Jarrell Clark is 45. What if we put Jarrell Clark and Sanjay Dutt into a match? They'd have a good match, right? Let's do that. That'll be our opening match. Singles. It's going to be Jarrell Clark versus Sanjay Dutt. I think it's been long enough now that we can go ahead and change Jarrell Clark's gimmick to something else without people being confused by how quickly the gimmick change happened. Basically, as soon as I get going to give Jarrell Clark a clean win. There's not going to be an aftermath. There's going to be a lot of heels winning, folks. Sorry about that, but I just want to get Jarrell Clark a little bit more over because I think it would be really nice if we could push him up to that tier where Jarrell Clark could have a feud with El Machito. That would be a pretty good series, I think. So we're going to have Tommy Chill come out of the broadcast booth to have a match with Chris Sprules so that Chris Sprules can debut his new gimmick. So that'll be a 1v1 match, a single match. It'll be Tommy Chill and Chris Sprules. There is no title on the line. We're going to give this one to Chris Sprules because if he debuts, I figure if you debut your new gimmick and you lose, you're basically debuting your new gimmick as a loser. Like your gimmick is essentially your loser that happens to also have this other kooky thing about his personality. But, yeah. Actually, coincidentally, somebody had been asking whether or not, in the comments, had been asking if I had, if I've been watching Lucha Underground. And truth was, I'd seen an episode, but I've been watching it faithfully. I didn't have access to it on cable. Turns out it's not that hard to find online if you're so interested. I think, is it Del Rey Network maybe puts it online? I'm not really sure. And we're going to go ahead and have Chris Sprules do an interview to hype this match so that he can also have his, a little mic time ahead of time to help debut his character. But I noticed in their first show, they had the person that got they had the opening match was Blue Demon Jr. Versus Chavo Guerrero Jr. And the Chavo got a bigger audience response. He lost that match. Then they had this guy wrestling. They had a man wrestling a woman. The woman's name was Sexy Star, and they did a video package about her talking about how she, wants to be an inspiration to women. Oh no, Chris Brules' new gimmick got a negative response. Damn it. I'm sure that there's somebody who is telling me I could have seen this coming, and they're right. If I'd opened up a FAQ, if I'd just stopped the video, opened up a FAQ, looked up the gimmicks, and seen what is wrong with Chris Rules that doesn't allow him to have the clean cut gimmick. Yeah, he gained overness from the segment anyway, so. But then they had the dude beat up Sexy Star. Like Sexy Star like lost after this sort of video package build up and like it being this sort of, at least to American audiences, a kind of unique thing of woman wrestling guys. I mean, it's been done before. Jacqueline, I think, had the light heavyweight title for a while. I think Chyna, I can't remember if she ever held a belt. She might have held the IC title. Not really sure, but Chyna also wrestled men. But it's not as common a thing. Um, Joe Clark losing overness, but it was still a good match. Still a great match. Gabriel gained overness from this segment. These aren't fantastic segments, but Tommy Chill and Chris Rules had a good match. GQ Smooth backstage. Yeah, wow, the interviews aren't quite as crisp, it seems like, as sometimes they might be. They didn't have a great match, but then again, they're not. I didn't pick them to have a feud with each other. Miss Tenille and Takamura both gained overness from this segment, and it got a pretty good rating. I wonder whether or not they just happen to be really on tonight. And this match, also not a huge crowd reaction, moderate crowd rating. It's an okay show. We could do better. We could barely do better, actually. Honestly, like, I have to bear in mind what, like, the kind of expectations. We have a small Fed. Our production values are not great. We're not doing elaborate matches. We're just doing straight up wrestling matches. My wrestlers are talented, but of course, they're not super well known, and they don't have a. I mean, generally they all have something that they're lacking a little bit. Otherwise, they wouldn't be so affordable. Jarrell Clark and Sanjay Dutt work pretty well together due to their similar styles. I agree. Oh, I guess we've already done that match, haven't we? I might have done that match last week or last month. Oh, all right. And then the main event was this new guy that they were the this new wrestler. I think was it uh, El Puma or something. Um, and he was having a match against Johnny Mundo, who also wrestled as Johnny Nitro. Um, but Johnny Nitro won that match. Or no, did he lose that? Yeah, he won that match, even though he wasn't the guy that they were building up either. Then afterwards they shook hands, and yeah, it's just weird. Like everybody that you would think would either be the logical person to win or the person that like they appeared to be sort of like building up toward winning the match. All of those people lost. Like the match results for the entire first episode of this show, Lucha Underground, all just were confusing as much as anything. Ainsley Chase is retired. Jacqueline, she'll retire in 1 month. Ha ha ha, she's retiring, y'all. Robert Gibson is retired. Earthquake will retire in a month. Bruce Sanchez wants more money, so does El Majito, so does Sanjay Dutt, so does Jarrell Clark, Tommy Chill, Katsushi Takamura. You all deserve more money. None of you will get more money. 24 Karat Productions have ended their sponsorship deal. Cost Cutters have ended their sponsorship deal. Betterment. We made 48 grand. Superb work. Public image is improving every month. We're losing money too fast, and we need to find a way to cut costs as soon as possible. Yeah. I understand you're saying that. We actually didn't lose that much money. How much money did we lose? 14 grand. What do you think, Matt Laurent? Overall, I'd say you are doing an average job. We're a financially solid company, but we've been losing money every month for a while now. Financially solid, baby. Oh, we only gained 2% last month, or from that show. We're only at 63%. It is going to get harder, isn't it? Sophie, what do you have to say? The industry's in a steady state. So maybe it's not going to get farther down. Joe Clark's current gimmick is killing his heat. They don't say that about Chris Sprules. I wonder whether or not changing the gimmick got a negative response, but people will get used to it, or whether or not, the next time I have a show with him, they'll say like, "Hey, this is killing his heat, man. You need to change his gimmick." We'll find out, I guess. It's fine. He's only our number 2 babyface. He's only 2/3 of our merchandise. Not quite 2/3. Let's take a look at the sponsor world. Let's take a look at the sponsor sphere. 24 Karat Productions. Wait, ROH was sponsored by 24 Karat Productions? They paid 10 grand a month. Very confused. Veteranament, 150 grand. Let's see. 2 months left on that contract. So it would cost us 200,000 to eliminate the contract. We would make up 200,000 in 4 months from the difference that we would make here. Well, let's end this sponsorship deal. That would cost 510,000. See, no. Now it costs us 200,000. What is the deal with Veteranament? They have 10% morality, so yeah. Let's go back to make sure we're in the finance department. Let's talk to Sophie. Let's talk to, who do we need to talk to here to tell us how much we should be able to get from sponsors? That's interesting. I thought there was somebody who would tell us that. Oh well. Alright. I really would rather get rid of Mick Mars bars, but if we end this sponsorship deal right now, 200 grand, it's done. Let's go into interested only, search again. Make sure 150 is the most we can get. I'm pretty sure that's the most we can get, period, right now. Actually, let's view our existing sponsors. Mighty Mints is 146. We're going to demote you to a minor sponsor. And now, interested sponsors? Veteranament. For all your musical needs, here, have our main sponsorship. They accept that deal. So we're going to be back into making money again, folks. After a, initial outlay to get involved in this contract. I just wanted to make sure to get that and pip it before whoever it is originally had that contract picked it back up again. So you'll see we did take a massive money hit there, 200 grand, which we won't get back for a little while, a couple months, a few videos. But I feel like it was worth it, folks. When we come back next time, well, let's take a look at how the feuds are building up. They're pretty good. How about giving one worker a few victories by cheating? Good versus evil always draws well. That's pretty much all I do. Like, that's my whole booking style. Good versus evil. Evil guy keeps winning, 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 being so evil, and then finally good brings the comeuppance at the end. It's very formulaic, but it works. Um, all right. Anyways, folks, this is Bobo the Vulture. This has been Let's Play Extreme Warfare Revenge. Thanks very much for watching, all you guys. And when we come back, we will run through the month of February. Actually, let me go to events. Pretty sure we changed all of these other than December, which we couldn't change because we were in December. Yes, the Cornucopia of Violence is on the 24th of November. So let's just set Christmas Carnage for the 29th. There we go. Thanks very much for watching, folks. I will see you later. Bye.